Let's Godot, a series where I recreate video game mechanics in the Godot game engine. In this video, it's a bit of a shorter one. I was actually putting away my silverware after doing the dishes, and for whatever reason, doing that always reminds me of that mail sorting game from Wind Waker. So on kind of a whim, I thought that would be a pretty fun thing to recreate in Godot. The way it works is pretty simple. You're given a time limit, and you have to throw pieces of mail into various mailboxes based on the symbol printed on them. And then your score is simply the number of correctly sorted letters. To start with, I drew the icons in Krita, as you're currently seeing here. Then, I modeled the mailbox cubbies in Blender, and attempted to make it look like the one in the game. I guess I kind of succeeded? I'll let you be the judge. The next thing was to put those icons down, so I used the decal node, which made it super easy. I thought about baking them into the texture, but this works just fine. Although it does kind of make you realize just how easy we have it nowadays. Instead of working out some complicated shader code or whatever, I can just plop a decal down and call it a day. Anyway, once I had those in the proper spots, I started making a scene for a letter. And after struggling a little bit with the placement of the decal, I was able to create a system that changed the icon whenever you changed the type of that letter. The type, I decided, would simply just be a number from 1 to 6, and would correspond to the cubbies from the top left to the bottom right. I then added a letter to the main scene, and as you can see here, the symbol changes as I change the type. Next up, I needed a way to throw the letters into the cubbies. One way I could have done it was with physics, which would have been interesting, but instead I went with the simple and reliable approach, the Path 3D node. For each cubby, I simply created the path from the spawn point to that cubby, and just made sure they curve nicely. Then, I added logic for throwing letters along a path. To do that, I gave each pair a PathFollow3D node and a remote transform 3D as a child. By doing things this way, I don't have to move the letters to be children of the PathFollow3D. I can simply set the remote path attribute to the letter I want to throw, then use a tween on the progress ratio to move the letter along the path. I also used a tween to rotate the letters a little bit too, just for extra polish. The letters also stack up, which is just a little cheat where I increase the Y position based on how many letters are already in that spot. It's a bit hard to see, but the letters do indeed stack up. Once I got that working, I started adding logic to be able to choose which cubby to throw into. In the original, there's this reticle that moves around, so I recreated that by adding a marker 3D node for each cubby. When a cubby is selected, I use the unproject position function to get the screen position of that marker for the current camera. Using that, I can loop the reticle to that position. After that, it felt like it was time to get a few sound effects going, and the result of that is what you see here. The last step was essentially just more of the same. I added some more sound effects for correct and incorrect tosses, and created the basic game loop. It gives you 30 seconds to rack up as many points as possible, and then once the time is up, your total score gets displayed and everything repeats. So yeah, like I said, a bit of a shorter one, but a fun little example of just how easy it can be to recreate minigames like this. I think in total I spent maybe 4 or 5 hours, just spread out over a couple days. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know in the comments what other game mechanics you'd like to see recreated in Godot. Thanks for watching!